Well, I think if you've ever tried to do your own taxes, you know what a daunting task that can be. Well, you have no idea on a state level what that looks like. And in an attempt to simplify it, make things fair for everybody, and bring more revenue into the state, Assemblyman Nathan Fletcher's got a pretty good idea going on here.
Yeah, he's backing a bill, and in fact, we invited the Assemblyman in this morning to explain what this is and actually how it could help middle-class families afford to send their child to school just a little bit easier. Nathan, thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. You know, we have something that makes absolutely no sense. We have a tax code that actually encourages you to create jobs in other states. We have one that allows companies outside to pick a beneficial tax system. We're one of the only states in America that have that. And so at the request of California-based CEOs, California-based employers, California-based small businesses, we're going to eliminate that loophole. We're going to make a commitment to job creation in our state. Just doing that alone will create jobs and make us a more competitive environment. But then we take the revenue from that change, and we help assist those families who make too much money to qualify for financial aid, but not enough money to pay for their kids' education, those middle-class families, by lowering the cost of college 2/3. We call it the middle-class scholarship, and we've got a broad base of support behind it.
Now, you say that'll bring in, by closing this loophole so that out-of-state companies can't have a tax advantage in California, by closing that, it'll bring in $1 billion a year.
Right. It brings in $1 billion, absolutely, $1 billion in revenue a year. Last year I had legislation that would have cut taxes $1 billion, which couldn't get through. The out-of-state interests have a disproportionate amount of power. This year we're back with a revised version. Speaker John Perez is authoring, and I'm co-authoring, that will act that commitment to higher education. And one of the things I heard when I was named chair of the Select Committee on Jobs in the New Economy, we've done a lot of hearings, and employer after employer in San Diego said, we have jobs open today. Qualcomm's a perfect example. Hundreds of jobs open today. They pay great salaries, great wages, health care, retirement. You can buy a home, put your kids through college, but they can't fill them because they can't get the workers with the skills they need for today's world. So this helps us make a real commitment to higher education.
Keeps jobs in the state of California.
Keep jobs in the state of California, make sure our kids are getting a shot at not only a great education, but those great jobs. And now, all in all, it's a really needed reform.
Can you guarantee that $1 billion will go to helping lower the cost of college? Because a lot of times this money ends up in some general fund and it never goes to where it's earmarked for.
Well, you can't tie the hands of future legislatures. You can't guarantee what they will do, but it is written in statute where that is what it should go to. And I think most people would agree that in this world where we see staggering student debt, we see so many families that are unable to put their kids into college, and then we understand the important role that education plays in the American dream in terms of ensuring kids have the opportunity to move up, that it should remain a priority.
You said something really interesting there, and we can get into this maybe in a future discussion, but the fact that you can't tie the hands of future legislators,
right?
That to me is something just short of criminal, in that if everybody agrees that this money should go towards education, and everybody agrees on that, that's how the legislation gets through, that's what the money's earmarked for a future legislation to be able to, or legislators to be able to just change that when they decide that they want to steal that money away from that program and put it into their program, that doesn't seem right either, does it?
Well, it's the perils of democracy. And if people don't like the legislature, they can vote new. But, you know, one of the challenges we face is not with legislation, but with ballot measures that have kind of lockbox budgeted. So you have examples of programs in Sacramento where a 5-year program made a lot of sense, and they locked it up in the fund. And now today, when we're cutting public education, we're cutting public safety, we're cutting infrastructure, you have pots of money that we can't touch that are creating new programs that 5 years ago might have made sense, but the need isn't there anymore. And so I think it's a balance of ensuring you have flexibility, and then having the public constantly monitor the actions of the legislature to make sure the priorities are right.
Okay. We're flat out of time, but thank you so much for your time this morning. And please come back, because I certainly have a lot of questions about the mayoral race, where you stand with certain things, and if you'll be perhaps joining one of the candidates in the future.
All right. Happy to come back.
All right. Thank
Sounds good. Nathan Fletcher. Thank you. All right. Let's get to Renee and check the forecast here on this
Friday? I can't believe you blanked on Friday.
I looked up and I was a little confused for a second, so let's